Hello everyone. Today I want to talk about something very important that affects all of us, even if we don't always see it. It's like a quiet, invisible force that can change our lives. I'm talking about inflation. Imagine this. You have a small, cozy room. In this room, there's a table, a chair, and a comfortable bed. Everything feels secure and just right. You work hard every day, and you keep your money safe in a drawer. You feel good knowing that your money is there, ready for when you need it, to buy food, pay for your home, or maybe save for something big, like a new car or a trip. This drawer, this safe place, makes you feel peaceful. For a long time, I felt this way. I worked diligently, saved my earnings, and watched my bank balance grow slowly. I thought, as long as I keep working and saving, my future is safe. My money is there, ready for me. The world felt steady, and my financial plans felt solid. I knew prices went up sometimes, but it seemed small, not a big problem. A loaf of bread might cost a little more, or a cup of coffee. I didn't think much about it. One sunny afternoon, I was at my favorite local cafe. I ordered my usual coffee. The barista smiled and told me the price had gone up by a small amount. "Oh, okay," I said, not really thinking. A small change, right? But then, on my way home, I saw the price of my favorite snack had also increased. And the next week, the cost of bus tickets was a little higher too. These were all small changes, but they were happening everywhere, little by little. It was like tiny drops of water slowly filling a glass. Each drop alone was nothing, but together, they were changing the whole level. My money was still in the drawer. It still looked like the same amount of money. But suddenly, it felt like it could buy a little less. That comfortable feeling of security, knowing my money was ready for anything, started to feel a tiny bit shaky. The drawer felt just as full, but the world outside it seemed to be asking for more of my money for the same things. It was a strange feeling, like my money was quietly shrinking, even though I hadn't spent it. This was my first real experience of understanding inflation, not just as a word, but as a subtle force at work in my daily life.
That small feeling of my money shrinking started to bother me more. It wasn't just a few cents here or there anymore. One month my grocery bill was noticeably higher, even though I bought the same things. The next month, the cost of my monthly train pass increased. It felt like a small, silent thief was slowly taking pieces of my comfort and security. My drawer still held the same number of bills, but each bill was quietly losing its power. I started to talk about it with friends and family. My friend Mark, who usually seemed very relaxed, actually looked worried one evening. "Have you seen the price of rent lately?" he asked, rubbing his forehead. "It's getting harder to save for anything big." My aunt, who had always been very careful with her money, sighed and said, "Everything just costs more now. My pension doesn't go as far as it used to." Hearing their worries made me realize this wasn't just my imagination, it was a real problem affecting everyone. The biggest challenge came when I looked at my long-term goals. I had been saving for a down payment on a small apartment. I had a clear number in mind, a target. But as inflation continued, the price of apartments kept climbing. The amount I needed to save kept moving further away, like a finish line that kept getting pushed back. It felt incredibly frustrating. I was working hard, saving money, but the goal was still out of reach. It was like running on a treadmill, putting in a lot of effort, but not actually moving forward on the path to my dream. This was the main conflict. My hard-earned money, which I thought was safe, was actually losing its value over time. If I did nothing, if I just kept my money in that drawer, I wouldn't just stay in the same place, I would actually fall behind. The comfortable life I knew, where hard work directly led to steady progress, was being quietly undermined. The idea of becoming poorer just by standing still was a very unsettling thought. I began to feel a sense of urgency. The world wasn't waiting for me. If I wanted to build a strong future, I couldn't just rely on saving. I needed to find a way for my money, and more importantly myself, to grow faster than the silent thief of inflation. This realization was a wake-up call, shaking me out of my comfortable, unchanging routine. The stakes felt much higher now. It wasn't just about small price increases, it was about the security of my entire future. The challenge was clear. How could I fight back against this invisible force?
The unsettling feeling, the frustration of my savings shrinking, grew stronger. I realized that simply working hard and saving money wasn't enough. The silent thief, inflation, was always working, always eroding my efforts. This was the moment the problem became crystal clear. If I did nothing, I would surely fall behind. This understanding wasn't just a thought. It hit me like a cold splash of water. It was the major turning point. I remembered something my wise old economics professor used to say: money that sits still loses. At the time, I didn't fully grasp it. But now, seeing my apartment goal move further away, hearing my friends worry, feeling the pinch at the grocery store, it all made sense. My comfortable drawer of money was not a safe harbor, it was a slow leak. I had to stop the leak, or better yet, make my own water flow faster. This realization wasn't comforting, it was a jolt. I felt a mix of fear and a strange kind of excitement. Fear of being left behind, yes, but excitement for the challenge. It meant I couldn't be passive anymore. I had to fight back. But how? I wasn't an expert in finance. I just had my job and my savings. The climax for me wasn't a sudden explosion, but a quiet, firm decision made late one night. I was sitting at my computer, looking at my bank statement, and then at the rising prices online. The contrast was stark. It was clear I needed to increase my income and strengthen my assets. My current work income felt like a stable but slowly weakening dam against a rising tide. I decided then and there that I would invest in myself. Not just in stocks or property, but in my own abilities. I would make myself more valuable, more capable. This meant learning new skills for my job, taking online courses, and spending my free evenings studying instead of just relaxing. It felt like a mountain to climb, a steep path, but the alternative, doing nothing and watching my future shrink, was far worse. The most intense part of this decision was accepting that there was no easy street. The idea that effort equals reward was only half true. Now it was constant, evolving effort equals survival and progress. This wasn't a fight I could avoid. It was a reality. And the only way to find peace, I realized, was to face it directly, to compete and to win. The comfort of my stable routine was gone, replaced by a fierce determination. I closed my laptop, took a deep breath, and felt a new kind of energy bubbling inside me. The silent thief had woken me up.
With that firm decision made, my life slowly but surely began to change. It wasn't about finding a magic solution, but about consistent, daily effort. I started with learning. Every evening, after work, I would spend an hour or two studying new skills related to my job, or reading books about personal finance and smart ways to grow money. My comfortable sofa time was now filled with purpose. It felt different. Not like a chore, but like building a stronger future brick by brick. The immediate result wasn't a sudden fortune, but a growing sense of confidence. As I learned more, I felt more in control. The invisible thief of inflation still existed, but I now had tools to fight it. I started applying my new skills at work, finding more efficient ways to do things, and taking on bigger responsibilities. My efforts were noticed. After several months, I had a meeting with my manager. They praised my new ideas and improved performance. This led to a significant salary increase, a direct result of investing in my own abilities. It was a clear victory against the shrinking value of my old income. Beyond my job, I also started to carefully look into investments. I began with small, safe steps, learning how to make my money work for me, instead of just sitting still. It was a slow process, but watching my savings slowly grow, not just from my salary but from smart choices, gave me a feeling of calm power. My financial base, which had felt shaky, was becoming much stronger and more solid. This journey taught me a very important lesson. In a world where prices are always rising, standing still means falling behind. It's a tough truth, and it can make the world feel difficult and demanding. But it's also a truth that nobody can avoid. There's no safe place to hide from this reality. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by this constant challenge, I now feel empowered. If competition is unavoidable, then the best strategy is to compete and win. This doesn't mean always being stressed or always working. It means actively seeking ways to improve yourself, to increase your value, and to grow your resources. It means making smart choices about your money and your skills. The peace I sought didn't come from avoiding the fight, but from facing it head on. The comfort wasn't in a full, unchanging drawer of cash, but in the knowledge that I was actively building a stronger, more resilient foundation for my life. My fear of falling behind has been replaced by the satisfaction of moving forward. And that, I've realized, is the truest form of security.